Mm-hmm. Make sure my stuff right. Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. All right. All right. Y'all know what time it is. Hold on. Let me get my sound right. Let me get my sound right. It's working. It's working. All that, all that noise, all that. I'm just smash everything. Just smash all the buttons. Oh my gosh! I was glad I'm able to do that. All right. Enough of the nonsense. Welcome back, world. Oh my gosh! Let me turn this down. This is Dissect a Dialogue. I'm Eric T. Y'all should know me by now. This is episode 105. A lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to discuss. Now, first of all, let me just say, as a Houstonian, as a Houston representative, I just want to say to whoever's running, whatever the wishing speedy recovery to all those recovering from the hurricane. But in all seriousness, Houston, y'all messing up. Y'all ain't doing y'all job. Okay. I know y'all heard me say this before, but category 1, people out of power for 2 weeks. I've never seen nothing like this. And it's always us. It's always us that's dealing with this. What is up with that? Why is it we always got to get the short end of the stick when it comes to this stuff? You think Cali and New York, Cali has fires. New York has, I don't know, rats, homeless people, homeless rats that are people. They have a lot of stuff going on. There's no way as a big city like we are, we're dealing with all this. Turn my notifications off. Hey, that's that. Oh, and as y'all can tell, I'm actually back on my laptop and I can actually do videos again. Now, let me make it clear. I still will do lives in the future when it's like, some deep subject if I just want to just shoot the breeze with y'all. The reason why I was doing lives then, those last few videos that you saw that was lives, I just figured out what was going on in my life. So something is happening to where my Google Chrome on my actual laptop that y'all see right now, this is my actual laptop. Well, you can't see it, but anyway, on my actual laptop that I actually do stuff on, it's been having some issues where, for example, if y'all see this later on, once I put it out, where I record, but you can't hear me talk. Like, so just imagine you was watching this video right now and it was on mute. That's how it will look. So then, with the help of my girlfriend, thank you, she said, you know what, try something else. Use a different browser. And here we are. So now I can go back to doing videos. So now let's get to the nitty gritty. Olympics aired, what was it, a few days ago? Things looking good. Let me know y'all think. Y'all think US is going to come with everything? Y'all think we're going to be short or something? I actually am glad to see a lot of stuff, a lot of, like I know breakdancing was big. Someone from out here, actually from Houston, I forget what his name is. I got to look him up. Give me 1 second. But yeah, I'm glad like stuff like that, even in this climate, is still being added in sports. Let me see. Breakdancing, Olympics. Let me see the dude. Oh, hold on. Was it Houston? Let me pull it up. Forgive me for my. There we go. Jeffrey Lewis. Shout out Jeffrey Lewis. Yes, out here finally going to be in the first breakdancing competition in Houston, which shows you how far hip hop has gone. We actually getting represented in the Olympics for something that's considered a staple in hip hop, even though nobody wants to admit it. But anyway, I'm so glad that it's being acknowledged now. Not a lot of people, consider it to be a sport, a form of art, or even just a cultural necessity like breakdancing, because in a way, dancing is a form of like nonverbal communication, just like any sort of art form. But I don't know why I never really got it. Even like in the hip hop community, if you want to call it that, I think it's like a cesspool. But not even they even respect breakdancing as an art form. And it's one of the four fundamentals of hip hop. But, in typical fashion, we got to wait till, the powers that be to acknowledge it. And it's like, oh, yeah, yeah, it's cool. But, like, we're supposed to represent it as well. But congrats to old dude. Can't wait to see it. I don't know. I need to tune in to see what's going on, see what's going on with the events, but definitely be tuning in. Another thing before we get on to the main topic. Um, I never noticed how, I noticed there was a lot of sports, don't get me wrong, but I never noticed, especially when it comes to our folk and when it comes to the sports that, like it's like the major food groups. Like all black families have like those same sports that everybody does. You know, football, basketball, maybe track. You know, for women, basketball, volleyball, yeah, same, still track. If you're lucky, you might get soccer. But for the most part, as people that are, and this is what I always thought, why don't us as men try gymnastics? Like we're so agile and flexible with our bodies. We can jump high, we can do all sorts of cartwheels and stuff. Why don't we do that? Why don't we see a lot of our men doing that? But I already know how the stigma is. Like, we wearing tights and we doing flips and doing splits and all that. But okay, football, you wear tights. Swimming, you wear tights. Wrestling, you wear tights. It never made sense to me, but that's whatever. But congrats to everybody that supported. I'll be tuning in. You know, I know the basketball team's gonna get go. I know. I don't know. I'll probably tell you this. I think me and Simone went to the same middle school. Fun fact. She probably don't even know why, but yeah, we went to the same track in the minute. Yep, went to the same middle school. But shout out to her as well. Good luck to her and everything else. But now to the nitty gritty, the nitty gritty. Um, what is Kamala doing? What is her mo? What's her game plan? Like what's her strategy with everything going on? Because I don't know if anybody else knows what's going on, but people like to say that Obama never did, and I'm not defending him, but I mean, be honest, Obama never really helped us out as a people. You know, like I get it. Around the time that he was elected, I was still a kid, so I thought it was amazing to see, like, oh man, we could do everything. We're capable of doing all this, but at the end of the day, he's a politician. No matter how many times we try to clean it up, he's still a politician. But with this new thing going on, Sleepy Joe about to get his last slumber. Donald Trump acting like he's still in the 60s and 70s, talking like he's still grabbing girls by their snatch. Um, but with Kamala, it's a different story because, now granted, do I think she has capabilities of having okay ideas as to how she wants this country to be structured? Maybe. Everybody has a good idea every once in a while. Do I think she could run the country? Not really. Do I think it's because she's a woman? That's a tough one because, it may waver. But do I think it's because she's, and hear me out before I say this. Now, I'm not going to say what y'all think I'm going to say. Do I think it's because she's a person of color? Because if you really want to think about it, technically, if you want to say she has part whatever, that is also a yes. If you want to say she's a person of color, that's also a yes. But does she have our struggle per se. Because if people, for the people that don't know, everybody knows she was, what was she, a defense attorney? Right? Kamala was, she was a defense attorney. And she was, in Cali? Yes, a defense attorney in Cali. And she got notoriety for locking men up for marijuana. But yet, Breakfast Club, you know, doing what they, Caucasian must tell them what to do. All of a sudden, she bragging about smoking weed in college, but she ruined black families. And this is who we want to have in office. It's bad enough we had her as a VP, and I doubt she was doing anything, or so we think. Because just because somebody doesn't seem like they're doing much doesn't mean that they aren't doing anything. Because I always got the thing like, man, I've never seen Kamala have an interview, talk, and when she does, it's always nonsense. But what if it's intentionally she's doing that? But the main question of tonight is, and this is going to be a touchy subject. So for those that want to come at me, y'all should already know I done made. We're past 100 episodes, so you should know that it's only objective. But the question for tonight is America ready for a black woman to be president? Are we ready for that? Now, I'll bring this up in question. Now, oh wait, recession was happening. It was damn near like the new age of Great Depression. Stuff was going down. People was losing jobs. I was a kid and I remember that the 08 recession time. I know because I remember the frustration and anger in my parents' faces. So I remember that there was a time when the country, as far as economically, we weren't doing great. I lived it, right? You know, plus you still had, your average case of racism, sexism. You have that. When Obama was elected, I believe, I forget who said it, but I think when Obama was elected, President, let me just say President Obama. I don't want to say it's like, I notice that a lot of people don't really say President Obama. President, former President Obama, I'm going to say that. Let me say that. When he was elected, it almost was like we was on an 8-year high. It was 8 years. We was on an 8-year high, and we thought that, oh, a black guy's running the country. Is this real? I don't know. Should I treat certain people a little differently, Lau? And then once it all comes into play, 8 some years later, you realize that nothing's been fixed. Uh, Everybody's still complaining about the same thing about rights, about women's bodies and gun control and healthcare and schooling and better paying jobs and sex stuff. And it's just the same stuff every 100 some years that the presidents have. Like even their speeches are scripted. Everything is all just mapped out already just to keep us entertained. Like every time, like when I see when two people want to like having like a presidential debate, every time I see it, I just think of it as like just like a widespread theater play. Everybody's just watching a big theater play. It's like watching two people on stage just do a scene together. It looks intense. It's shocking. You laugh. You may get angry. Maybe shed some tears. They may say some thought-provoking things. They may say some things that might shock you. They say some things you might agree on. But at the end of the day, it's all just for show. Because they don't make no laws. They don't control anything. For those that know how everything is structured, I'll explain. So everybody knows, you know, there's the House of Representatives, there's the Senate. We all know that. And then the branches, right? There's legislative, there's executive, and there's judicial. Here's the quick, for those that don't know it, here's the quickest way to learn it. Legislative, they make the laws. I think executive, well, judicial carries the law. Yeah, legislative makes the laws. Executive enforces. Judicial carries it out. So legislative, they make it. President enforce it. Judicial carries it out. A third of the country doesn't even know that they have that. That's why I think it's important to know that no matter who we elect, at the end of the day, they can't change anything. So I say this to say this: if Obama being elected, we thought he was going to do something and nothing happened. What makes us think Kamala's going to do the same thing? Has she ever done anything impactful to our community as well? But the problem is because and it's even worse because we're in damn near a gender war, which I'll talk about wars in a second. We're in a damn near gender war. So if you try to say anything about Kamala not leading a country, then you're going to be called sexist, misogynist, whatever these words that social media forces people to say, things like that. So you got to be careful what you say sometimes because everybody's so sensitive and everybody's running to. It's like no people are running to like feel something. It's like they're not even like offended for the right. They're offended that they don't feel offended, so they have to feel offended. If that makes sense. But it's like people just want to feel something, so they'll do anything to get that. But with Kamala Harris, it's a interesting case study because you got a person right that never claimed she was black. First and foremost, never claimed she was black. Go back and look at the headlines. Everything was Indian this, Indian that, and for those that's listening, know my people that's hearing me right now, y'all know how some of them see us, even though they probably is. I shouldn't even say this, but some of them Indians be as black as my shirt is right now. Look down on someone like me, like I'm like scum of the earth. But because they got their little haircut, like their white counterparts, they think that they're good. I've, I'll be honest, I've worked in jobs with individuals like that thought that they were good, with their Caucasian counterparts. So they thought they had to, tighten up their bootstraps and my experience per se, tying on someone that they think they could get away with. And then when it backfires, all of a sudden the victim. I've had those moments. Again, not everybody does this, but I've also had those moments too. So, and I'll tell you the problem with, you know, because if you want to say she's biracial, I guess you can make that uh, argument. The problem with a person of color that only lives one side of the Black American experience. The problem is people are gonna the other side is gonna cloud that side that she's representing in a way. Like like it's almost like I said, black and white. They want to relate to the one side, but the other side kind of messes up their perception to where they want to hate that side, and it's like, you know what, I'm not this, and now they're just stuck here. And the problem that you get with that, and I think that's what happened with Obama, is that you start to get stuck in the middle where you don't know who or what you're supposed to represent. Because no matter what you're going to say, it's going to be used against you. And I think Obama played it safe by not including that because I know he wanted to stay in there longer and, you know, make himself look presentable and make himself be a good representation. Because if I was someone like Dick Gregory or someone in office, or Malcolm X or somebody like that, that wouldn't last a month. It would have been, well, what happened to him? Oh, we had to let him go. You can do that? You can let a president go? Like, yeah, we just let it go. We couldn't handle him right now. But that's the problem with most biracial people. That's their quote unquote black side. That's one side that they have. But then when the other side tries to get them to think negative about that one side, that makes a person kind of have like no boundaries. It's like, well, I'm not really them, so it doesn't really matter what I say. I could just say a whole bunch of stuff. I could say like a few references. Like I saw one video she was doing. I guess someone was asking her about what she makes like for Sunday dinners or Thanksgiving dinners, and she had the most stereotypical like black accent I've ever heard. And I could just tell, like, if you listen to it, you could just. I need to find that video. I'm not gonna post it somewhere. But if you could just tell that it's just so cringe and it's so forced, and it's like you could tell like she doesn't really like. I'll be honest, like Aubrey Graham. When I heard those, hearing this Degrassi gays and then hearing them trying to masquerade a, I don't want to say a hood black dude, but I guess just trying to mask someone that grew up in the States or something. It's like, it kind of reminds me of even like Luke Kai Sinet when he was like kind of shitting on black Americans, saying that they have no culture. Because I think he's like Trinidadian and Haitian, I think. And I don't like those first generation kids that have like immigrant parents because they think because my parents are this and that they think they're better than ones that actually grew up in the States. And it's like, and I think, not saying Kamala, well, is Kamala one of her parents immigrants? Anyway, let's just say one of them are. The problem is they think they're above, you know, the continental blacks per se. They think they're above them. One second. Thought I'd think on for a second. But that's a tough one because, okay, so we got to check myself. She ain't really one of us. She, for her old background, we already know how she's doesn't really care about family structure. So she's basically promoting black genocide, essentially. And then, I mean, where's your credentials? I mean, you don't. Every time you speak, it's always circular definitions and just empty rhetoric. Like it's been 4 years. Has it been 4? Yeah, it's been 4 years. It's been 4 years. You've been missing in action. And I noticed it about like the last like few first ladies. She's been missing in action. Melania, same thing. Uh, Jill, I don't know, but someone like Michelle or like even Barbara Bush or like women like that. Uh, Even back in the old days, Eleanor Roosevelt, even Jackie Kennedy, women like that you would actually hear them speak about issues and like hear them talk and hear them get their take on certain things. You don't see that no more. I don't know why, but it's like I don't know. It's like I said, first ladies. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. First lady, VP. I know Kamala's not. Y'all know what I'm trying to get. But what I see is like I'll put it like this: women that are like around, like presidents, even like if they're their secretary or just their advisor or first lady, they're kind of missing in action. But is she doing it intentionally? Is it like a Dick Cheney thing where he was really the one calling the shots, not George W. Bush? So it's like kind of like, I'm not sure. And here's another take. Let's get into some tough questions. Tough. Will there be a civil war if she's elected? I mean, they already, we already, we already had like 2, 3 war scares in like the last 8 to 10 years. Uh, Talking about how we're gonna get in the war and all that prepping, but as soon as I saw that, what was it? That thing where it said if you're 18 to 20 something, you can list. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not. So if we do go into war, I'm not. speaking nothing bad, but if we do end up doing something like that, I know my ass is not going nowhere near fighting nobody's war that I didn't even sign up for. I know that for a fact. Not about the Vietnam my ass, but I don't know. That's a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one. I don't know how that's gonna look. But I do know that if we don't get our act together and we don't actually come together as the country that we claim to be, we gonna be in some deep waters. I can just feel it. I know for a fact we're gonna be in some deep waters because we always. I mean, everybody always talks about the country. Has the country's been the same? Has it changed? Well, America's always been the country that became what it was off of tears, blood, and honest slavery. Blood, tears, extortion, murder. But I find it funny that, when other countries try to do that to us, we act like we're just the innocent victims, which is what I don't like as a country that we do. That we, you know, throw stones, hide your hands type thing. That's what I don't like. I hate that we are like that. Just like the Bin Laden thing was a prime example of how we're so non-violent and so peaceful until we show our true colors. Because I remember when that happened, I'm like, y'all so slow. Y'all really think Bin Laden is dead? He probably not even dead. He probably a school teacher. But anyway, I ain't gonna get it. I mean, if Kamala win, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with that. That's gonna be a tough one to swallow. But I know if something happens, if there's a war, or if there's some crazy stuff going on in the world where it's out of my control, I'm gonna try to do something to go somewhere else because I'm not about to be a part of nothing I didn't ask for. That's not gonna happen. And I would advise anybody to be a part of that as well, to be honest. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Also, this is just a random question for all my fans. Do I look younger? I know I just did me a self cut. Do I look? Yeah, I look younger for some reason. I don't know. Do I have Benjamin Button disease? If so, I don't want to. I'm trying to think. If I'm old, will I turn into a infant? I don't know if that's fake or not. Anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. But thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, let me know what y'all think. Is America ready for a black woman to be president? Are we ready for that? Are we ready to dive into see how they're doing? How it's going to turn out? Are we ready to see that? I mean, to be honest, I wasn't ready to see two old geezers be a president after the quote unquote first black president. Because right after the first black president, probably some of the oldest dudes to ever become president was right after. I don't know what kind of message that was sending, but I just felt that was very odd that it just happened right after. But maybe that's just me. I'm just talking mess, whatever. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. But enough of that. Enough of me getting in the mix of that. But like I said, I don't know, Kamala, Michelle, whoever, if they running, I don't know who gonna win. All I know is that I'm not gonna be a part of it. Like I said, the only time I voted was out of force, and I didn't pick neither candidate. But so that just lets you know how my take on it. But like I said, I ain't gonna talk y'all's ear off. Just chunk deuces on that. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Let me turn this down. Y'all should know where I'm at right now. Y'all should know all the platforms. Twitter, X, Spotify, Amazon, all that. But until then, catch me next time. I'm gone.